Blues, gangsters and vampires are at the heart of what could be called Ryan Coogler's boldest film yet. To tell such a story, Coogler and his team were met with many challenges, both technical and creative. From unconventional formats to twin performances and rich period production design. But what exactly makes Sinners Coogler's most ambitious project to date? How did the film break new ground in an otherwise tired genre? This is how they shot it. For more videos on filmmaking, subscribe to our channel and remember to click the bell for notifications on new videos. And since we're going in depth on Sinners, this is your spoiler warning. Set in 1932 Mississippi, Sinners blend genres with striking confidence, mixing Southern Gothic textures with supernatural horror and the haunted promise of the American dream in the Jim Crow segregated South. We follow twins Smoke and Stack, ex-military, semi-ex-gangsters, returning home from Chicago to build something of their own. A juke joint in an old sawmill with the help of their cousin Sammy, a gifted blues musician.
Somebody take me
and the future.
But the big dream collides with harsh realities as the dangers of Jim Crow-era racism and literal supernatural forces creep into their world, threatening not just their business, but their souls.
We're gonna kill every last one of you.
In their fifth collaboration together, director Ryan Coogler cast Michael B. Jordan to play both Smoke and Stack, a role that Jordan felt was something he had never taken on before.
Heard the pitch and I was like, oh man, this is like different, because this would probably be the most adventurous role that I've played thus far.
Being able to distinguish between the two twins was important to Coogler from very early on. With the help of his dialect coach, Michael B. Jordan explored the backstories of each twin. Together, they developed two distinct physicalities and characteristics to Smoke and Stack.
Let me holler at y'all right quick.
The result are two emotionally grounded and visually distinct performances, each creating a unique presence and role in the story.
I don't know hoodoo, and I can't talk slick, but I know business. And this is bad for business. It's opening night. Besides, I want to be a few of them like this.
But as far as building those things, my dialect coach, Beth McGuire, really helped me explore the physical bodies of both of them and how they're going to walk and stand and be at rest, and the mannerisms and their cadence. What childhood trauma are they holding? Where are they speaking from? How do they show love?
The differences in each twin also manifested itself through their clothing, specifically through a color story. Costume designer Ruth Carter explains the process of creating color stories in costume that are subtle yet substantial.
There was a very delicate hand when it came to creating Michael B. Jordan's clothing. Ryan said, I want Smoke to be in blue and Stack to be in red. And you're gonna make Smoke a little bit more rugged, a little less self-conscious than Stack. The red and the blue hat did kind of create a signature for them.
With each of the twins brought to life, the next challenge was making their presence and interactions within a single frame feel seamless. To achieve this, Coogler and his team cast a body double and enlisted the best visual effects and camera technology available.
We casted a twin double, Percy Bill, and he would play off of whatever character Mike we were filming for Mike. And 90% of our twin shots that you see are with that Techno Dolly.
A Techno Dolly is a programmable camera rig that can replicate precise movements at exact speeds, allowing multiple shots to be seamlessly composited with identical motion. This allowed Coogler's team to film Michael B. Jordan as both twins using the same camera motion, so they could stitch the shots together cleanly in post. To create believable twin performances, Coogler needed to capture every detail and nuance of Jordan's portrayal of both Smoke and Stack. bringing all of the emotion together in a single shot. So the team built a custom solution, a carbon fiber halo rig with 12 cameras arranged in a circular formation around the actor's shoulders to capture 360-degree head performance reference data. The halo rig allowed them to record every aspect of Michael B. Jordan's facial movements across various emotional expressions. The data was then fed into a machine learning-based approach to recreate a CG head, which could be seamlessly composited onto a body double. Once all of the performances were captured, cutting-edge VFX was needed to bring it all together. VFX supervisor Michael Ralla and VFX producer James Alexander collaborated with 7 different VFX teams from around the world to get the best result. Bringing the twins to life wasn't the only bold move made in the making of Sinners. Coogler and cinematographer Autumn Durold Arkapaw made some groundbreaking choices when it came to format that weren't just for show, but used to tell a better story. Initially, Coogler wanted to shoot on 16mm for its texture and intimacy. But after consulting with VFX supervisors, he realized that creating the twins with visual effects required a more stable image with higher resolution, meaning they needed to shoot on at least 35mm. It wasn't until Jesse Ehrman at Warner Brothers planted the seed of shooting on large format that Coogler considered it. Ehrman liked the idea of large format to make the film an event and get more people into cinemas. But as Coogler did more research and thought more deeply about the emotions, landscapes and setting of the story, a larger format just made sense. Coogler and Durold shot in a combination of Ultra Panavision 70 and IMAX 65mm formats, making it the first film to do so while also making Durold the first female cinematographer to shoot a feature in IMAX. When considering large format, Coogler reached out to friend and mentor Christopher Nolan, who gave him a guiding piece of advice.
You know, the advice we could seek out with working with IMAX film cameras was like right up his alley. He had just worked with the System 65 cameras and the IMAX film cameras. His biggest advice was just to treat it like it was a Super 8 camera. You know, he was like, don't bow down to the camera and just make it like you would make a normal movie. That's gonna be the best thing for you. It's gonna be the best thing for the format. And that's kind of the advice that I tried to live by.
With this advice from one of the IMAX pioneers, Coogler finds moments to jump between formats using the varying aspect ratios for narrative effect. Shots in Ultra Panavision of the flatlands and expansive skies of the American South make it clear how vulnerable and isolated the characters are. If and when anything goes wrong, help is far, far away.
Because that's a defining feature of the Mississippi Delta. It is extremely flat. You know, you stand on those cotton fields, you fly, you can just see the earth start to bend. We talked about the storytelling narrative of isolation. So I wanted to recapture that idea of isolation. There's beauty in it, but also if you got an issue, nobody's coming to help you. And as soon as we laid out those Ultra Panavision lenses, bro, and put one body out there, you know what I mean, on that horizon, like, oh yeah, it's gotta be this. You know, like it's gotta be, like, this has to be our workhorse format for when, you know, that in it, so that when we go IMAX for those huge moments.
A jump to the towering IMAX 1.43:1 aspect ratio was like stepping into a character's shoes, even when we didn't want to be.
For select sections of the film, sections of emotional intensity, musical intensity, or horror intensity, we chose to film those sequences with a bigger aspect ratio, and the film will pop out and expand for those moments. It'll be a really, really immersive way to watch the movie.
When it came to systems and lenses, Durold leaned on some serious camera firepower. For most of the film, she used Panavision System 65 Studio and high-speed cameras paired with Ultra Panatar lenses for their bold, cinematic qualities. For the IMAX sequences, roughly 20% of the film, she turned to MSM 9802 cameras. Durold also opted for mostly just 2 lenses, a 50mm and 80mm. the same custom glass used on Oppenheimer. Gerald noted, "I liked their softness, and Ryan had confidence in the simplicity of using these two focal lengths to tell the IMAX parts of our story." While the vampire genre may be saturated, Coogler found a fresh take by setting the undead against pre-World War II Mississippi, where racism, isolation, and deep generational trauma already haunted the land. By rooting Sinners in a real historical setting, he gave the supernatural weight and context. The rural South of 1932 isn't just a backdrop, it's the soil the story grows from, with every frame layered in memory, tension, and lived experience. And recreating this was a tall task that Coogler and production designer Hannah Beachler enthusiastically dove into.
I always want to know the place. That's such an important piece of Ryan's films. And it is a character, I think, in almost all of his films.
While the story itself takes place in Mississippi, the film was shot in Louisiana for tax credit and infrastructure reasons. Despite being shot in a different state, Coogler prioritized the feel of the landscape.
We shot on 2 different plantations and visited several plantations, scouting for locations.
Well, the main set of The Juke Joint was shot on a soundstage in New Orleans. Most exteriors were shot on location in Louisiana towns Donaldsonville, Thibodaux, and Braithwaite. According to locations manager Elston Howard, the film required a location that was isolated, with aspects of water and thick with trees to match the Mississippi Delta. In Sinners, location is only one half of the setting. The other half is the 1930s time period, which in the American South was steeped in racism, brutally enforced by Jim Crow laws. Hannah Beachler's production design constructs this harsh reality throughout the film, most strikingly in a scene that contrasts 2 sides of town, one white, one black.
When you go into the black side grocery store, Bo and Grace's grocery store, you'll notice that a lot of the things being sold are tools, things of labor, things of work. You have more produce, things that are more lasting in the sense of staples like flour and cornmeal. It's all about sort of survival, which is a lot about what the film is about. And then when you get to the other side, it's flowers that are being sold. It's cakes and fruits, sweet things, books. You don't see any things that are utilitarian.
Beachler's level of detail can even be seen in the smallest of props. As the twins open the juke joint, some coins are used to buy some drinks. But not just any coins. Historically accurate plantation currency.
When Ryan brought that up about the plantation money, I literally thought that he had made that up. Like, I was not aware of that history. For me, I was very much driven to research what that was and find the real plantation money, which, there's museums that you can go to in Clarksdale, and the Library of Congress has that recorded, and several museums in the South that have actual wooden nickels.
The divide Beachler and Coogler create is not just visual, but emotional, grounding the supernatural plot in the harsh reality of the era. The promise of something as joyful as a juke joint carries with it the quiet weight of defiance. Between unconventional format choices, innovative VFX techniques, and emotionally rich production design, Sinners has staked its place in cinema, blending genre and form to create a story that feels both intimate and epic. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on the entire filmmaking process. We'll thank you later, beautiful Southern Dracula babies.